It's important to remember that we're all having and sharing the human experience, and that no matter what we think, no matter what we feel, at the end of the day, we are human. And we're complex. We're not one-dimensional. We're from so many different cultures. We are from different land regions. We have different minds, different emotions, different experiences within this life. And we cannot get caught up in our heads about how we think people should live and what we think people should do. We have to love them for where they're at. We have to love them in the moment. You see, there's a lot of separation happening within this world right now. There's a lot of division. And that's happening because we're not treating our fellow man like our brother, like our sister. We're treating people as if they're enemies. We're treating people as if we're all separated, and that's why there's wars. That's why there's all this infighting. That's why there's so much pain in the world, because we're not seeing that we're all one unit. For the good, for the bad, for whatever it is, we are one. And when we separate not only in mind, not only in body and spirit, but we separate within love. And that division, that mindset is so destructive. That individual that you are speaking to, with a different mind as you, with a different experience as you, that person is still from the same source. They're still from God. Whether you agree with them or not, whether they're the most terrible person in the world, whether they did the most heinous crimes, they're still human, and they're still from God. And you have to be moving from a deeper, more powerful source, and that is love, and that's God's love. You see, the human love most of the time is ego, and it's selfish, and it wants to hold, it wants to preserve, it wants to divide, because again, it wants to hold. But in God's love, you are in harmony, you are in wholeness. You do not see separation, and we have to return to that. And if we do not return to that, well, things are only going to get worse. You can see it within the land. You can see how dead the land is now. Very little places, very little cities are thriving with life. Everyone is chaotic, everyone is neurotic, everyone is broken, everyone is seeking. They're all in a state of disease. And it doesn't have to be physical. You don't have to physically have an ailment. We're suffering in our souls. We're suffering in our spirit. And that's why we are divided within the nations. That's why we are divided as a human being and as a unit within this planet. We're out of sync with reality. We're living all up in here. But we forget that for a long time, we lived in our hearts. We live with feet firmly on the ground, connected to our hearts and understanding that we're all one. And we have to return to that. And yes, it's hard. It requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to be human. It requires you to bring a different level of self into this world. And if you're watching this video, you have to be the one that usually starts healing your environment, starts to heal the people around you, because you're aware at a different level. When you see all this chaos, when you see all this pain, well, that means you see it. You're at the level in your heart already where awareness is there. And awareness isn't enough. Awareness is a beautiful thing to have, because it means you're being exposed to a new perspective in life. But now you have to act on it. You have to be the one initiating conversations. You have to be the one initiating love inside of relationships. You have to see people, as human beings, as really alive and complex, not one-dimensional. That takes courage, that takes vulnerability, that takes love, that takes grace. And in my eyes, that is what being a man and being a woman truly is. It's standing in truth. It's standing in something that we all have been given, but we have lost. And that is love. That is harmony. That is peace. And it's not always easy. And it's not meant to be easy. Because love, yes, it's all rainbows and sunshines, but for you to get to that, you have to be confrontational, and you have to really communicate about the real things in life. You have to talk about the realness. If there is a conflict that you have to address, well, that is moving in love. Because when you address that conflict, you are saying, no, I want to work through this. I want to overcome this. And yes, the other has to want it, but you most of the time have to initiate it. Say, yes, we're having problems, but let's work through it. Yes, I know you're struggling internally. Yes, I know you're in pain. I know that the world is crazy. But let's try to address it. Let's talk about it. Let's connect. Let's try to overcome these challenges. Man, we have to be the ones really making change, courage. But nowadays, it really requires more vulnerability. You have to be willing to take off your mask, break down your ego, take off all the armor you wear in society and say, yo, let's talk about the real stuff. Let's go deep. Let's be real. And through that vulnerability, through that courage, well, that's where healing begins, and that's where change begins. So guys, be vulnerable. Take off your mask and have courage. Be human with one another, because we need that realness. And that realness is not ego. That realness is humanity. That realness is love.